Entertainment is a form of activity that holds the attention and interest of an audience, or gives pleasure and delight. It can be an idea or a task, but is more likely to be one of the activities or events that have developed over thousands of years, specifically for the purpose of keeping an audience's attention. Although people's attention is held by different things, because individuals have different preferences in entertainment, most forms are recognizable and familiar. Storytelling, music, drama, dance, and different kinds of performance exist in all cultures, were supported in royal courts, developed into sophisticated forms and over time became available to all citizens. The process has been accelerated in modern times by an entertainment industry which records and sells entertainment products. Entertainment evolves and can be adapted to suit any scale, ranging from an individual who chooses a private entertainment from a now enormous array of pre-recorded products, to a banquet adapted for any size or type of party, with appropriate music and dance, to performances intended for thousands, and even for a global audience. The experience of being entertained has come to be strongly associated with amusement, so that one common understanding of the idea is fun and laughter. Although many entertainments have a serious purpose, this may be the case in the various forms of ceremony, celebration, religious festival, or satire, for example. Hence, there is the possibility that what appears as entertainment may also be a means of achieving insight or intellectual growth. An important aspect of entertainment is the audience, which turns a private recreation or leisure activity into entertainment. The audience may have a passive role, as in the case of persons watching a play, opera, television show, or film, or the audience role may be active, as in the case of games, where the participant audience roles may be routinely reversed. Entertainment can be public or private, involving formal, scripted performance, as in the case of theater or concerts, or unscripted and spontaneous, as in the case of children's games. Most forms of entertainment have persisted over many centuries, evolving due to changes in culture, technology, and fashion. Films and video games, for example, although they use newer media, continue to tell stories, present drama, and play music. Festivals devoted to music, film, or dance allow audiences to be entertained over a number of consecutive days. Some activities that once were considered entertaining, particularly public punishments, have been removed from the public arena. Others, such as fencing or archery, once necessary skills for some, have become serious sports and even professions for the participants, at the same time developing into entertainment with wider appeal for bigger audiences. In the same way, other necessary skills, such as cooking, have developed into performances among professionals, staged as global competitions and then broadcast for entertainment. What is entertainment for one group or individual may be regarded as work by another. The familiar forms of entertainment have the capacity to cross over different media and have demonstrated a seemingly unlimited potential for creative remix. This has ensured the continuity and longevity of many themes, images, and structures. Psychology and philosophy. Entertainment can be distinguished from other activities such as education and marketing, even though they have learned how to use the appeal of entertainment to achieve their different goals. The importance and impact of entertainment is recognized by scholars, and its increasing sophistication has influenced practices in other fields such as museology. Psychologists say the function of media entertainment is the attainment of gratification. No other results or measurable benefit are usually expected from it. This is in contrast to education and marketing. Such mixtures are often known by the neologisms edutainment or infotainment. The psychology of entertainment as well as of learning has been applied to all these fields. Some education entertainment is a serious attempt to combine the best features of the two. Some people are entertained by others' pain or the idea of their unhappiness. An entertainment might go beyond gratification and produce some insight in its audience when it skillfully considers universal philosophical questions, such as, what is the meaning of life? What does it mean to be human? What is the right thing to do? Or, how do I know what I know? Questions such as these drive many narratives and dramas, whether they are presented in the form of a story, film, play, poem, book, dance, comic, or game. Dramatic examples include Shakespeare's influential play Hamlet, whose hero articulates these concerns in poetry, and films, such as The Matrix, which explores the nature of knowledge and was released worldwide. Novels give great scope for investigating these themes while they entertain their readers. An example of a creative work that considers philosophical questions so entertainingly that it has been presented in a very wide range of forms is The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Originally a radio comedy, this story became so popular that it has also appeared as a novel, film, television series, stage show, comic, audiobook, LP record, adventure game and online game. Its ideas became popular references and has been translated into many languages. Its themes encompass the meaning of life, as well as the ethics of entertainment, artificial intelligence, multiple worlds, God, and philosophical method. History. The ancient craft of communicating events and experiences, using words, images, sounds and gestures by telling a story is not only the means by which people passed on their cultural values and traditions and history from one generation to another. It has been an important part of most forms of entertainment ever since the earliest times. Stories are still told in the early forms, for example, around a fire while camping, or when listening to the stories of another culture as a tourist. The earliest storytelling sequences we possess, now of course, committed to writing, were undoubtedly originally a speaking from mouth to ear, and the forces entertainment derived from the very same elements we today enjoy in films and novels. Storytelling is an activity that has evolved and developed toward variety. Many entertainments, including storytelling but especially music and drama, remain familiar but have developed into a wide variety of form to suit a very wide range of personal preferences and cultural expression. Many types are blended or supported by other forms. For example, drama, stories and banqueting are commonly enhanced by music. Sport and games are incorporated into other activities to increase appeal. Some may have evolved from serious or necessary activities into competition and then become entertainment. It is said, for example, that pole vaulting may have originated in the Netherlands, where people used long poles to vault over wide canals rather than wear out their clogs walking miles to the nearest bridge. Others maintain that pole vaulting was used in warfare to vault over fortress walls during battle. The equipment for such sports has become increasingly sophisticated. Vaulting poles, for example, were originally made from woods such as ash, hickory or hazel. In the 19th century bamboo was used, and in the 21st century poles can be made of carbon fiber. Other activities, such as walking on stilts, are still seen in circus performances in the 21st century. Gladiatorial combats, also known as gladiatorial games, popular during Roman times, provide a good example of an activity that is a combination of sport, punishment, and entertainment. Changes to what is regarded as entertainment can occur in response to cultural or historical shifts. Hunting wild animals, for example, was introduced into the Roman Empire from Carthage and became a popular public entertainment and spectacle, supporting an international trade in wild animals. Entertainment also evolved into different forms and expressions as a result of social upheavals such as wars and revolutions. During the Chinese Cultural Revolution, for example, revolutionary opera was sanctioned by the Communist Party, and World War I, the Great Depression and the Russian Revolution all had an impact on entertainment. Relatively minor changes to the form and venue of an entertainment continue to come and go as they are affected by the period, fashion, culture, technology, and economics. For example, a story told in dramatic form can be presented in an open-air theater, a music hall, a movie theater, a multiplex, or as technological possibilities advanced, via a personal electronic device such as a tablet computer. Entertainment is provided for mass audiences in purpose-built structures such as a theater, auditorium, or stadium. One of the most famous venues in the Western world, the Colosseum, dedicated AD 80 with 100 days of games, held 50,000 spectators, and in it audiences enjoyed blood sport with the trappings of stage shows. Spectacles, competitions, races, and sports were once presented in this purpose-built arena as public entertainment. New stadia continue to be built to suit the ever more sophisticated requirements of global audiences. Court entertainment. Imperial and royal courts have provided training grounds and support for professional entertainers, with different cultures using palaces, castles and forts in different ways. In the Maya city-states, for example, spectacles often took place in large plazas in front of palaces. The crowds gathered either there or in designated places from which they could watch at a distance. Court entertainments also cross cultures. For example, the Durbar was introduced to India by the Mughals, and passed on to the British Empire, which then followed Indian tradition. Institutions, titles, customs, ceremonies by which a Maharaja or Nawab were installed. The exchange of official presents, the order of precedence, for example, were all inherited from the emperors of Delhi. In Korea, the court entertainment dance was originally performed in the palace for entertainment at court banquets. Court entertainment often moved from being associated with the court to more general use among commoners. This was the case with masked dance dramas in Korea, which originated in conjunction with village shaman rituals and eventually became largely an entertainment form for commoners. Noch dances in the Mughal Empire performed in Indian courts and palaces. Another evolution, similar to that from courtly entertainment to common practice, was the transition from religious ritual to secular entertainment, such as happened during the Goryeo dynasty with the Nari festival. Originally solely religious or ritualistic, a secular component was added at the conclusion. Former courtly entertainments, such as jousting, often also survived in children's games. In some courts, such as those during the Byzantine Empire, the genders were segregated among the upper classes, so that, at least before the period of the Komnenoi, men were separated from women at ceremonies where there was entertainment such as receptions and banquets. Court ceremonies, palace banquets and the spectacles associated with them, have been used not only to entertain but also to demonstrate wealth and power. Such events reinforce the relationship between ruler and ruled, between those with power and those without, serving to dramatize the differences between ordinary families and that of the ruler. This is the case as much as for traditional courts as it is for contemporary ceremonials, such as the Hong Kong handover ceremony in 1997, at which an array of entertainments were put to the service of highlighting a change in political power. Court entertainments were typically performed for royalty and courtiers as well as for the pleasure of local and visiting dignitaries. Royal courts, such as the Korean one, also supported traditional dances. In Sudan, musical instruments such as the so-called slit or talking drums, once part of the court orchestra of a powerful chief, had multiple purposes. They were used to make music, speak at ceremonies, mark community events, send long-distance messages, and call men to hunt or war. Courtly entertainments also demonstrate the complex relationship between entertainer and spectator. Individuals may be either an entertainer or part of the audience, or they may swap roles even during the course of one entertainment. In the court at the Palace of Versailles, thousands of courtiers, including men and women who inhabited its apartments, acted as both performers and spectators in daily rituals that reinforced the status hierarchy. Like court entertainment, royal occasions such as coronations and weddings provided opportunities to entertain both the aristocracy and the people. For example, the splendid 1595 Accession Day celebrations of Queen Elizabeth I offered tournaments and jousting and other events performed not only before the assembled court in all their finery, but also before thousands of Londoners eager for a good day's entertainment. Entry for the day's events at the Tilt Yard in Whitehall was set at 12d. Public punishment. Although most forms of entertainment have evolved and continued over time, some once popular forms are no longer as acceptable. For example, during earlier centuries in Europe, watching or participating in the punishment of criminals or social outcasts was an accepted and popular form of entertainment. Many forms of public humiliation also offered local entertainment in the past. Even capital punishment such as hanging and beheading, offered to the public as a warning, were also regarded partly as entertainment. Capital punishments that lasted longer, such as stoning and drawing and quartering, afforded a greater public spectacle. A hanging was a carnival that diverted not merely the unemployed but the unemployable. Good bourgeois or curious aristocrats who could afford it watched it from a carriage or rented a room. Public punishment as entertainment lasted until the 19th century, by which time the awesome event of a public hanging aroused the loathing of writers and philosophers. Both Dickens and Thackeray wrote about a hanging in Newgate Prison in 1840, and taught an even wider public that executions are obscene entertainments. Children's entertainment is centered on play and is significant for their growth and learning. Entertainment is also provided to children or taught to them by adults in many activities that appeal to them, such as puppets, clowns, pantomimes and cartoons are also enjoyed by adults. Children have always played games. It is accepted that as well as being entertaining, playing games helps children's development. One of the most famous visual accounts of children's games is a painting by Peter Bruegel the Elder called Children's Games, painted in 1560. It depicts children playing a range of games which were presumably typical of the time. Many of these games, such as marbles, hide-and-seek, blowing soap bubbles and piggyback riding, continue to be played. Most forms of entertainment can be or are modified to suit children's needs and interests. During the 20th century, starting with the often criticized but nonetheless important work of G. Stanley Hall, who promoted the link between the study of development and the new laboratory psychology, and especially with the work of Jean Piaget, who saw cognitive development as being analogous to biological development, it became understood that the psychological development of children occurs in stages and that their capacities differ from adults. Hence, stories and activities, whether in books, film, or video games, were developed specifically for child audiences. Countries have responded to the special needs of children and the rise of digital entertainment by developing systems such as television content rating systems to guide the public and the entertainment industry. In the 21st century, as with adult products, much entertainment is available for children on the internet for private use. This constitutes a significant change from earlier times. The amount of time expended by children indoors on screen-based entertainment and the remarkable collapse of children's engagement with nature has drawn criticism for its negative effects on imagination, adult cognition and psychological well-being.